Whereas before it was suggesting this could be a potential kind of career, now I kind of feel like it is my career, but it's just about making it work now. I'd say that the scheme it's made me take myself more seriously, and just kind of seeing it more as a viable outlet and a viable career. One of the really useful aspects was just kind of embedding within these organisations and getting to see how all the different departments work. And previously I might be kind of thinking of things event by event basis. Now I've kind of got a year's worth planned ahead, which is kind of much better than a hand-to-mouth kind of production then.
Well, for me the training was really good. I thought the standard of training was very good, very strongly delivered as well. Specifically targeted on a certain subject. The trainers were experts in those subjects and delivered the content really well, in a clear way and in a way that was relevant to us as emerging producers. Very good opportunities for us to take a day out and really focus in on the points that were important. I felt the training and the mentorship and the opportunities that the bursary gave me in terms of things I was able to go and see, conversations I was able to have. Everything sort of began to slot into place as the year went on. And also, of course, observing the other producers, I began to get a sense of, this is kind of how this world works, and there is a place for me in it. I guess I feel now that anything is kind of possible, really.
I feel I benefited from a bit of reflection. I think the strategic thinking stuff has happened, and I think it has affected how I make decisions. It's quite easy to use the term professional development, but I think this scheme felt like they were developing you as producers and like personalities as well. It was a kind of quite organic feel to it, and that you could then speak to other producers and say, hey, well, what do you feel about that? Are you taking that on board, or how's it working for you? I think that was the key element really, was the inter-producer sort of dialogue.
Since taking part in New Music Plus, I've definitely found it a lot easier to explain what it is that I actually do. I think before I used to find it very difficult to separate out my two roles as an artist and a producer, and it feels like it's definitely a lot clearer now, and in practical terms I feel like I'm able to communicate that a lot better. Working on New Music Plus has definitely helped me to develop a much more clearly defined decision making and organisational working method. Some of the skills that I've developed while working on NMP include financial planning, working on different sized budgets with different ranges of resources. The co-production side of the project has definitely been the most important for me. Generally, having worked in Cumbria for the last few years, it's felt quite isolated, and there's been very few opportunities to work with larger organisations. So having a kind of regular dialogue with Fact and the Burnell has been really, really interesting and really helped me to kind of question and develop what I do.
Through working with the Blue Coat, I've been able to see a completely different perspective on arts, music and events, and allowed me to challenge my ideas. Working with the Blue Coat has allowed for a really great cross-pollination of audiences between my personal events and events here at the Blue Coat. I think one of the crowning achievements of the programme is bringing together a group of independent producers, some of which I've met before, some of which I hadn't, but at the end of the programme I feel as though we're left together strongly bonded by the project.
As a producer and as an artist, and the way in which my profile was before, I've always had what I've done, and this has been quite similar for 10 years. I've reached certain levels and it's always kind of bubbled along, but I think my profile whilst doing this PRS thing, it's definitely been raised and been exposed to new audience that I didn't think I'd I'd get to, you know, without a doubt, you know, the Six Music, the Unconvention, the press we got from that. So specifically through PRS, I mean, profile has definitely been raised, and work that we're looking to continue into with the project this year through funding that we got through Umbro. That's an indirect consequence of the PRS, and it continues. You know, there's a legacy there from it, not just from the work we've done previously, but hopefully from, you know, the work that I'll be able to do as a continuation of this.
I did chemistry at university, for God's sake, so my rebellion has always been doing music. But I never did training in this, and here I am at this stage, you know, thinking, oh, there is a structure, there is a methodology to planning your work. I just wish I'd had this 10 years ago. So the mentoring for me has been incredible, actually one of the most useful parts of the whole training thing. My mentoring was fantastic because I'm fortunate that I've met somebody who's a real ball breaker, who's a go-getter. He's one of the best mentors I could actually get.
Doing the New Music Plus program has really affected the way that I strategize and the way I think about monetizing what I do. You know, working with Band of Ball, I've created a whole new system called Gigs Theme, which is an interactive media channel for bands and venues. That is something which hasn't been created for my own use, which is I've actually made it with, you know, with the view that other people are going to use it. Now, this is something which I probably wouldn't have done a year ago. I come from a very different background from all the other producers. On one hand, I felt like, what am I doing here? But on the other hand, it was very much my target group of people to get engaged with, to meet people who put events on and know all about the infrastructure that you have to put in place. It was really useful. The group's amazingly talented, young. Some of them are so young. I feel like the old man of the group. But to see that talent at this kind of quite raw stage and see how they changed over the year, it was really amazing, to be honest. Several members of the group, they're just going off and do some amazing things in the future. That's really, really exciting.